Hi everyone, it's Ayesha from God FM, and today I want to talk about the gang stalking, child eating psychopaths, the blood drinkers, the home invaders, the people who like to cook people alive, with weapons that you cannot see and pretend that they're not doing it, pointing lights at your home, doing home invasion, putting all the stuff in your water, gassing you, putting stuff in the air by your windows. They actually come up to the windows, and the door, and they have a syringe that they put by the door, and it gasses your home. And all it needs is a tiny bit of this inside you, and you become completely taken over by nanoparticles. Now, these guys aren't just doing it by the mini, they're doing it by the mega, because I've actually seen the funnels of what they put into the water in my old property in the loft. Okay, so I have first-hand experience of what child-eating, blood-drinking, psychopath people do to innocent people. If you're a Christian in England, then you're going to come under this attack. I want you to know that the only people who are allowed to be happy are devil-worshipping, child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths. If you're not a child-eating, blood-drinking psychopath, then the child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths terrorize you until you become so terrorized and so angry and so frustrated that you actually change personality. Because if you terrorize someone enough, eventually they will kill themselves, or they will kill someone, or they'll do something stupid, because it's sleep deprivation, it's torture, it's home invasions, it's taking over somebody's life in every aspect of every way. And this is highly organized criminal activities conducted by criminals who are running a trafficking operation. These are the same people that go and pray under trees and sacrifice their own children to the devil so that they have power in this world. Those people are the same people who are doing home invasions and all of those things, right? The instigators are higher up, by the way. They're fallen angels. This is quite high level stuff. If you're a targeted individual, I want you to know that your life has now come to a grinding halt, not for fun, but so that you are a witness to the levels of evil that if all neighbors around where you live can participate in this annihilation of an innocent person's life for a gift card, a holiday, a new car, a promotion at work, or a house extension, and they can go around and spread nasty gossip and call you a drunkard or a drinker because you're climbing the walls because the torture hurts you and you're getting really pissed off with it. If all the neighbors, like in my town, can be persuaded to do this, then what it says to me, there's not a lot left to be saved. These days are nearly finished, and your life, by it coming to a grinding halt, you being a witness to the fact that all the neighbors can actually do this and sleep at night, means that this is a very, very, very evil world. And you have to see it to believe it. You really do. And if I tell anyone, Mr. Joe Average, like one of the staff members at Tesco, what happens to me, they wouldn't believe me. You know why? Because they work at Tesco, and they're so busy working, bless them, to pay their bills, that they don't get to see what I see. I have become a preacher for the Lord, and in doing that, I had the honor, most great honor, of reading the Lord's good book, the Bible. And whilst I was reading this book, I came to realize that the world as we know it didn't really match up to our Bible stories. And somebody was telling lies. So, the Lord tells you to be like a child. So I said to the Lord, Lord, something's not adding up here. I said, what's going on here? Anyway, the Lord gave me many dreams. I was so very excited to know the Lord and His good book that I was more than happy and so very excited to tell everyone my dreams and my visions that I got from the Lord. And like my ex-husband would say, who do you think you are, living in your pipe dreams, eh? The man, the psychopath that would sleep with anything with a vagina. This man is the most evil man. Anyway, you may say the same. Am I living in a pipe dream? Well, I would say that all of the participants in the gang stalking, they're the ones living in a pipe dream, because they are a bit like a cigarette, which may provide a bit of stimulation for a short period of time, but they will soon become ash and go in the bin, like a cigarette butt. You know, in South Africa, we call the cigarette butt a stompie. And I think that's a very fitting word for these guys. Because the reason you call it a stompie is because when you're finished with it, you put it on the ground and you stomp on it. So, I should call this stompie. So anyway, because I was so very excited to talk about the Lord and how amazing His book was and the dreams and things that I had an audience of pretend people who pretend to be God's children. And I got their attention because, unfortunately, by me talking about what happened to me in my dreams and things, this exposes the liars, the people who pretend to be God's children. Okay. And this is what they like to do. They like to destroy innocent people. They come after you personally. And what they will do is they will send anybody into your life to make your life a living hell, to destroy you, to make your life absolutely horrendous. This is what they like to do. And they won't stop until you kill yourself or you just end up homeless. And while they're destroying you, they will have parties, get-togethers, weekly meetings, because everything is about you. But you see, the thing is, if they actually concentrated on their own lives, then they might actually have a life, you know. But because all they want to do is concentrate on you and your life and destroying you, then what happens is they don't end up having their own life. And it's kind of sad, because if they spent that much energy on their own life instead of trying to destroy you, then they would probably have something worthwhile to look forward to. So, if you're like me, the shock of it all has actually taken me off my course of life. Because I am in shock, but I'm also traumatized by it. So if you have a car crash, the trauma of it can sometimes only hit after the event. And so I've been living in this kind of waking up every day trauma. Am I one of those people that are going to be watched and followed, listened to and tracked? And the police won't do anything? They're going to hack everything? They're going to clone my phones? They're going to come in my home while I'm asleep? They're going to take my SIM card and clone it? Is this the life I'm going to live now? Are these people going to destroy every relationship I ever had, ever will have? Are they going to go around and smear my name? Are they going to make sure I can't earn a living? Are they going to make sure that any document I do if I run my own business is corrupted and they make spelling mistakes on purpose? Is this the life I'm now going to live, where I'm going to have strangers who not only do I not know, but these are people who would like to destroy me and hate me and are jealous of me. And if they can't have what I have, then they're going to destroy me because they haven't got what I've got. These are the most sick, evil people. And these are the sort of people that are doing this, by the way. You should know this. If you're a targeted individual, you should know the type of people. These are the sort of people that make bacon sandwiches out of babies. Okay. I'm not joking around. Okay. These people are the sort that butcher babies for breakfast. These are the sort of people that have babies with women just so that they can go to the hospital and pretend that the child didn't make it, and they'll take the child and sacrifice it to the devil. These are mostly men, I have come to find out, but also couples, and they tend to be the main operators who do this as a full-time career, destroying people. They run around in vans. They work in the solar industry. Most of them are holiday apartment owners. They're quite wealthy. Okay, the elite club. So I guess you could call it a bit like Hostel, where you've got this elite hunting club, you know, with a dog tattoo, where they have hunting parties. So you're basically one of the hunting parties victims, and you're the latest prize, you know. And don't be surprised when I tell you that they actually get sexually aroused by watching the demise of someone's life, but also controlling. And they also like to leave evidence that they've been in your home, again, because they like to control you. These are the sort of men that will date or marry a woman and then sleep with hundreds of women, but also not wash themselves off before they have sex with their wife, right? Because they're Satanists, they're evil people, right? And these are the sort of people that will leave you with 2 young babies after they've married you, and then turn the children against you, but never ever help you, right? And never offer you proper full maintenance for the children either. And he'll contact all your Facebook friends and any friends, and he'll get himself on the iCloud with the children and be spying on you secretly, and then go and become a cyber expert. These are devil worshipping, child-eating, psychopath people. And the trouble with it is, when they get this much power, they get a real kick out of it. So if you're a targeted individual and you're under the control of one of those, then it's very hard to break free from it. And you really are in the hands of the Most High God, who measures things according to his own measure. And we're not here as police officers. We can't uphold the law here. And if the police won't do anything, and they know this is happening, because this is Stingray and Pegasus and all the rest of it, and this is organized by the Neighborhood Watch, then all we can do is be at the mercy of our Lord. And this is the very reason Jesus came here and died on the cross for us, so that we can call on our Lord. So Jesus suffered all these sufferings. And he said, you should know that they hated me first. But you see, reading those words that Jesus was hated isn't quite the same, is it, as experiencing full-blooded hatred by people who will skin a baby up, probably while you watch, and fry it up as a bacon sandwich and eat it, or get, their children to eat it. These are the sort of people that kidnap children and put them into the food chain after they've raped them, okay? These are pedophile type people. They really like to be the weird gendery thing. And they're very anti-God. So I'm just trying to describe the mentality of the characters involved in the crimes against targeted individuals, okay? Because it takes a certain type of person to take money to terrorize innocent people. Those people have sold out. And for those people, they might have a happy life right now. But like the cigarette, it will come to an end and it will be a stompie. I have prayed and fasted, so I know I've received quite a lot of victory. And now I'm doing more praying. As you know, I've taken a break because this was just got a bit too much for me, to be honest. And the Lord knows me. So I've taken a bit of time out so I can also learn the word, but I do want to be there for you guys and encourage you and share my thoughts, because as a preacher of the Most High God and a prophet of the Most High God, I believe that the other children of God are lost and confused and at a loss as what to do, because the horror factor of finding out that your neighbor's door twitches every time you go out, and they've rigged up little cameras in the hallway and outside so they can watch your comings and goings, and that when they've come in, they've left evidence that they've been into your home, but they mock you publicly. When all of this is happening, it can be quite a shock to the system, can't it? Right? And so, you're not quite sure what to make of it, and you feel isolated and alone. And it's for this reason I'm sticking around. My stories may not be cheerful. I'm sorry to tell you that. I wanted to be a happy preacher for the Lord, to be singing and praying and just being so happy. But actually, I hate it here. I wish I was never born. I don't want to be on this earth. Not when my neighbors can be persuaded to do these things to innocent people. It says to me the world is a very, very evil place. And if you're targeted, you've witnessed this and you can't go back. And that's why it carries on. That's as some people say, if you can ignore it, it'll go away. But I can't ignore it, and I can't just get on with my life now. I've changed. I told the Lord the same. I said, Lord, I have changed, and I don't know what to do. I'm a different person now. I don't care about what I used to care about. Nothing matters to me anymore. Being here means nothing. I don't want to be here. I've got nothing I look forward to. What, so that my neighbors can cook me alive in my home. What's the point? Sorry. But I hope, my tears will bring you something if you're a victim. Because I'm not a liar. This is happening to me. Every day, without fail, these people go to such extreme concerted effort to ensure that everything has been switched on, all linked to my boiler. And it is absolutely a horror show. And what I've said to God is, I pray for their demise. I do. Because the state of the world is not good. If you think about it, how many neighbors have I got? Around me, 20. And then a further circle out, probably 200. And I can say, with my hand on my heart, that each one of them participates in this knowingly. They know me, they watch me, they listen to me privately. They don't tell me that they listen. But I know, because I'll have conversations with them about something, and I'll raise something from one of my videos casually, and they'll just nod in agreement, or they'll be like, yeah, and then the conversation will go further. But they won't admit that they really are listening or watching my videos or my audio. Because just like my ex-husband, every time my children would see a nice car, he would say to them, "Don't look at them." "Why not, Daddy?" "Well, because you don't want to give them any attention." Because secretly his eyes were burning with jealousy. And people who have no heart or soul, they don't like to see anybody happy. And if you are driving around in your car happy, then the parents of little children don't want those children to look at the person who is happy with music on in their car, because they're sick. They get enjoyment out of causing pain, and they don't want the child to become familiar with happiness through smiling and listening to good music and driving around and being happy. They get enjoyment out of causing pain. They have a structured mechanism that they follow because they are born evil and sadistic and sick and twisted. Like, you get these people who purposely will go out with women so that they can hurt them and cause them pain. So they play games with them mentally because it gives them power, and they feed off an energy. So what they do is they look for people who are light and happy, and then they will go out with that person and they will suck the energy out of that person because they're jealous of that person. Men can be jealous of women as well. And so if they can't be that person, then they will destroy that person. Do you understand? And this is also where they become extremely jealous, but the jealousy isn't because they care about you. This is jealousy because they don't want you to be seen by anyone else, because you're a little gem of a star, and he's hiding you away from the world, right? And he's isolating you. He's going to tell you that you're not good enough and you're lucky to have him because no one else loves you and everyone else has, turned you down or whatever else. And he'll say that you're ugly or you're never going to make it in life. And, he'll bring up all sorts of things that will bring you to a point where you won't have any confidence in yourself, because secretly you're a big star and they're sucking the life out of you. And the only way they can maintain that is to have full autonomy over your activities in the social arena, which include but not limited to friendships at work, friendships in the family, your parenting. So, at first, once they've been with you for a while and you've worn out and you're a bit boring now, then they'll go and sleep with lots of people and then leave you with 2 young children or whatever. This is their favorite tactic. And then go around and spread malicious rumors and nasty gossip that you were the one that cheated when he's the one who screwed loads of women every day of the week. Anyone with a vagina, hello. Oh, good. He's hopped in bed with her now. Oh, brilliant. And every woman that you look at, you're wondering if he's slept with them. From my experience, anyway. And the trouble with a cheater is they're like a leopard and they don't lose their spots. But to justify their next relationship, because they've obviously gone with the woman that they cheated with and now remarried, they've now got to pretend that they're not really sure that their children are really their children, because they've got to maintain this facade and they've got to make up that the woman they left for this other woman is an awful person, all because he thinks with the dick that's between his pants, right? And then he'll do that with the next woman. But the reason for this is once he's beaten a woman down right to the core and she's lost her confidence because he's expressing such hatred towards the woman, because he secretly despises her, the power, this light that shines inside her. He's got to put out the light. Once he's fully confident that he's put that light out, then he'll discard the star, the little lady, and find himself another little star, right? But he knows that your little star light will come back again, and he will give you a kick every now and then. But not only this, he'll make out that you were the bad person, and everyone will hate you, including your parents, your friends at work. He'll secretly contact people at work, people you're friends with. If you've got children, then he'll be on your social media like a hawk. If you make friends with one of his ex-girlfriends or ex-wives, he'll know about it. Do you want to know how he'll know about it? Because he's hacked your Facebook and he's hacked his ex-wife's Facebook. Because this guy is a control freak, sick psychopath. The sort that will take up a career working in BT cybersecurity to ensure that he can maintain his facade, his control, and his sick psychopathic behavior. Not only that, once he's done all of this, if that isn't enough, then he will put you on a stalking list to totally destroy you, to put you as a homeless person. And because you've been raising the children, he will have been able to build his career up and become a high earner. Yeah. And so money won't be a problem to destroy the woman that he destroyed as she was bringing up the children, to completely put in the final nails into the coffin. And so this is the behavior of the child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths. They won't come to your children's births either. That's the behavior of child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths that worship the devil. They made you pregnant. You go to hospital and you give birth to those babies by yourself because this guy is too busy sticking his willy in other women's vaginas. When he's done that with both of your children's births, then, as you're still trying to bring up your little babies, he'll throw down the youngest baby down the stairs at 1 or 2 weeks old, drunk, and decide he'll catch her at the bottom of the stairs after he's come home drunk on the train from London, and you've had to carry him off the train. You've just had a cesarean, and you've only just started driving again, so I think it's probably 6 weeks into it. And you've gone to the train station at 1 o'clock in the morning with the 2 babies in the car to pick him up off the train. You've had to carry him off the train with the stitches still in place or just out of the cesarean area to get him into the vehicle, to get him home, where you finally feel you can now settle with the babies and try and get everyone back to sleep. And he decides to fuss over the child, drunk and totally drunk, and throw them down the stairs. This is the sort of person, when you've got 2 young babies, that they will rip out all the floors and rip out all the doors, rip out all the heating, rip out all the bathrooms and the kitchens, and leave his wife and children to function in this environment where there's no heating, no carpets, no windows, and basically he becomes a builder and puts in the windows and the doors that are so sharp that they chop off one of the children's fingers as they're trying to close the door. This is the sort of man that takes out the central heating and decides to put in a central heating system that runs off coal and wood through a wood burner, but won't have a fire guard because it's ugly, and therefore the children are unsafe in this environment. This is the sort of man that will shout at you if you go and get a fire guard because he doesn't want one. This is the sort of man that will put in wooden floors and polish them so that you go zip flying over and crack your head open every 2 seconds. Because this man is a sick, twisted psychopath. And I just want to give you an idea of what gang stalkers are. I believe that they go to school and are raised by Satanists, and they join clubs and they have a list of suitors that they must go out with and marry to destroy. And the agenda is to destroy the woman, but to destroy any relationship with any family member or children that she might have. Basically, if she has a business, then you've got to do everything you can to destroy her business. If she goes online and tries to date someone, then that ex-husband will contact you pretending to be a potential suitor and tell you that you look 20 years older than your age. And this man is completely motivated by the star energy that he's taking, still feeding off it, because the new relationship he's now in is a second relationship, because you will always be the number one relationship in this man's life. Any woman that he ends up with will always be a secondary, because he's had children with that one. And then the agenda is to destroy the children. How will they do that? Well, they will turn the children against the mother. if the children do not take his side, then he will do everything he can to break that child's mind, to ensure that that child is fed the hot and cold, the gaslighting, the drug, where it's lots and lots of love, and then drop you from a very heavy height and then never speak to you anymore. Very confusing for a young teenage mind, especially a young girl. And then go around and tell everyone that the little girl is just like her mother, and, try and make it out so that, you look good, basically. But when you look at it and you realize that the mother is doing all right, so, he must be telling lies, then he realized, actually, his story doesn't add up very well. So he better go and make sure that this woman has no income, she's hacked and stalked and terrorized, and make sure that you destroy any part of her life. Make sure she is never ever happy, because he's got a story to maintain, and that is that he is the innocent party, even though he is a sick, twisted, evil, repulsive man. Did you ever watch that film about the bunny boilers? Well, this is a bit like the bunny boilers, where people like this exist, and they feed off causing complete and utter trauma, and it's just about pain. And so when this happens to somebody, the victim, eventually the victim just comes to the conclusion that they're kind of stuck, really, and they know something's going on, but they can't put their finger on it, and so they just make the best of it on their own. And it's at that point, when you have rejected suitors, because that often happens just before you become a targeted individual, the suitors who are rejected then join in, because they're part of the same satanic cult, the child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths. Witches and warlocks really do exist. You need to wake up. Okay, if you're a targeted individual, then you need to wake up that we're not imagining that this is happening. Okay, I'm not imagining it. I've seen hundreds of videos. I've interviewed dozens of people. And what you should know is that the world leaders are child eaters. They buy and sell and traffic children. If you want to be successful in this world, then you have to join their club. And this is the Masons. And the Masons' commodity of trading and their choice of finance is the trafficking of little babies and children and the children's blood, which is adrenochrome. And so it filters down the chain of the pyramid, right from the top, all the way down to the bottom at government level, because these guys work in government. Like in my government office at my local town, they earn £200,000 a year. I mean, that's big bucks, isn't it? That's big money. So they're not bottom feeders. They're still kind of at the top of the chain, aren't they? Then they've all got little secretaries, and they've got receptionists, and you don't just get a job in the council like that. A good, well-paid job. It's normally friends, family, and colleagues that they know they get them the job. This is why the spending is out of hand in the government. One thing leads to the other. There's a chain, and it all goes round. It's like all roads lead to Rome. Okay? The picture I've drawn today is just of the male character of the psychopath. Okay? The child-eating, blood-drinking psychopath. Okay? The higher the rank of the Masons that you are, the higher earnings that you can achieve and expect to receive by being a partaker in the Masonic Lodge events and meetings. Okay? And they wear special rings, and they bath in blood, and they really do satanic rituals for wealth. And the sooner you wake up to that, the better. So, truth has a price. Okay? But the price has a truth. Okay? So both feed each other. So when you want a price, as in you receive the wages for your sin, as in the perpetrators of the crimes against targeted individuals, you've received the money, then you must also receive the truth, because the two come in hand in hand. Okay? Because everything has to balance. Because God is the balancer of the bank balance. Okay? Because this is the rivers, and this is the banks. This is about eternal life. This is about the 4 rivers of Eden. The true life. Which tree are you going to eat from? Are you going to eat from the tree? So the story of Adam and Eve, it's a true story, but it's also your story. If you're a targeted individual, then this is your story too. You chose to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Good and evil. By you wanting to know the truth, yeah, then you became partakers in knowing the truth. Now the thing is, the truth is Jesus Christ. And you can't unwake up. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That's the way I look at it. That's why what happened with Jesus happens with all of us. Because we all chose to go with the truth. Yeah? We made a choice when we woke up. Truth or lies. Being alive or dead. Okay? We got the knowledge. We got awakened. Okay? So, if you notice, in the garden it is Eve that eats from this tree. The devil comes and tempts her, right? And then it tempts Adam. And why would this happen? Well, I don't know if you noticed, but while God was creating Eve, Adam was asleep. So the men are asleep at the moment. Okay? And the women are being created in the image of Adam, the second Adam. So the women are now coming into their own. Okay? So we came from Adam, but we are our own beings. So Jesus came here as the second Adam, and now the second Eve is coming. Do you understand? And this is, Eve was called the mother of all the living. So it's the other side of the cake, if you like. The women waking up, okay? Or the truth, the people of the truth. But this is also the F, and it's also the S for she, the F for female. So God is the T, and also the H, but she is the S and the H as well. So there's 2 different elements. So if you put the S and the T on top of each other, it's a cross with a snake. Okay, so you can't have one without the other. This is like the black and white checkerboard. But this is the knowledge and the wisdom of Solomon that was stolen from us. Okay? And in them stealing it, they've ensured that the little stars that are born from the Lord, because we are like little stars, that our lights are dimmed and that they put us out. So did you ever watch Stardust? So it is a bit like Stardust. Have you noticed that? Where you are like a star and they basically want to just steal your heart and cut it out. Now in the film, it was physical. They wanted to physically eat the heart to maintain their youth. But these people who are bottom feeders, if you like, actually want to feed on your heart spiritually. So it's done in a metaphorical form. Okay. So that's why they give you all the movies. Snow White, and all the dwarves, that she didn't fit in wherever she went. Do you understand? Those weren't her parents. It's Cinderella, it's all of that. Because we're different creation, because we've come from the second Adam. All who are waking up is quite an honor. I wanted to just explain this, but also, sorry if I really went to home on the targeting and the what it is about the psychopaths, but these are really evil people. You must know this. These people have an agenda, and let me give you an idea. Across the week, they have an agenda every day, and their agenda isn't about them. Their agenda is about destroying you, okay? Because you're a star, and they want to feed off your energy as much as possible to destroy you. And if you've got children, they'll do the same with your children too. By turning them against you, they're feeding off you, and they're feeding off them, off the pain. Because every time they get convinced the child that the child doesn't love its own mother, then they get a thrill and a kick, and they feed off the star, that power, that energy, that love, because they get enjoyment out of causing pain. Just like I was saying about the car, you know, like I was driving the God FM car, and this little child went, "Mum, look at that car." And you could see that little child just wanted to come and talk to me, and I would have been able to tell them about Jesus Christ. Anyway, the mother yanked the child so hard by the arm that I thought she was going to pull the arm out of its ligament, you know, out of the shoulder. Because she didn't want the child to look at the car. And this is what people have done with God. They have yanked their children away. And God is coming to get his children. God loves his children. Now you should know, if you are a child of God and you have accepted Jesus Christ and you are a targeted individual, then your reward is near. You have a crown of glory to hold on to for those who make it to the end of the race. This isn't a race about who gets there first. It's about getting to the end of the race. And Jesus has led the way. And he's completed the sentence in words, because Jesus is the word. And now we need to ensure that we are also incorporated into that sentence, not just for a crime that he didn't commit, but into the book of life. And our reward is in heaven. But if you are like me and you've woken up with a bit of a smack in the face to the reality of the horror show that I now live, then I want to explain the way I see it. Okay, because you know what they say about flipping children brats. They have parents that are brats. Okay? So, why is that? Because they were given everything they ever wanted. So as children of the second Adam, if you like, brothers and sisters, which is Jesus Christ, then we also have to suffer so that our reward is great, but also so we're not brats. Because I don't know if you notice, but if a child gets everything they ever want, they turn out to be monsters. It's better to make them work for it. Yeah? And certainly with anything, the harder you've had to work for it, the more you appreciate it. How many times have you let someone borrow something of yours and they haven't taken care of it and they've returned it damaged? Because they don't care. They didn't have to buy it, and they'll just pretend that there wasn't anything wrong with it. Yeah. So, this is the mindset of the people coming against us. You should know that they are highly, highly dangerous people. If you're a targeted individual, you need God. You do need God now more than ever, because these people will absolutely do whatever they have to do to destroy you, rape you, sexually molest you, torture your private areas, cook your fanny, cook your bum, cook your willies, cook your feet, pump your house full of nano, come in your home, vandalize things, put your knickers on if you're a woman, a big, giant, ugly, fat, sticky, smelly old man will put on your knickers before you wear your knickers, and you don't know if some willy's been in those knickers. These are sick people. This is the reality of what I've experienced. These are people who will cut special areas into your ceiling so that they can break in undetected. And they will actually fix it so that it's rock hard when you push up against the ceiling. But actually, they fixed it down on their end, and they can lift it once they lift that piece of wood that they've jarred down against it and lift your ceiling up. So I found at my last property anyway. Yeah, thinking it was safe. And if you get no nails, and you try and stick things together, or, you know, in your loft, we had loft windows, I tried to use no nails and wood to stop them coming in the windows. They just got a saw and cut through it. And they even left their tools in the loft so that I'd know they'd been in. I found a whole big bag of electrical testing equipment in my loft, along with saws and all sorts of things. These people are very highly connected with the fake children of God, and also different cultures, Muslims, Hindus. They're not picky, okay? So they come from all sorts of different cultures. So there's, it's not one all fits the same bunch, basically. They come from different cultures. So different people from all over the world join the Masons, and it's like a cult. It's like a religion. Well, it is a religion. Okay? And once they're in it, they're told, well, if you want to keep your position as a solicitor working for your dad, you have to stay in the Masons. And being part of the Masons, you have to maintain your status by doing blood sacrifices and eating people. And, to make it in business, these are the things you've got to do. Sorry to tell you that. And so, if you're a targeted individual, you might have thought, why has it been so hard to run a business? Why has it been so hard to get loans? Been so hard to do anything? Have a relationship? Because you're not a devil worshipper. You're not a psychopath. You're not a blood drinker. You don't have children bacon butties. for breakfast. But these people do. Okay. Anybody who partakes in this is of the same ilk, in my opinion. Yeah. They will sacrifice their own children. So you've got to ask yourself, if people would do this, then what else will they do? For a bit of money, eh? You know, you can just imagine the conversation. Oh, you didn't do enough torture last night, so you're not going to get the holiday. But you can have a weekend away in Cornwall for the torture that you did this weekend. Like in my case, I've seen the payment day with one of the people around here. Payment day's Monday. I've heard the same character arriving and whatever, right? So, but you should know that this is like the Hunger Games. You know, in that film, Taken, when the girl's taken from her holiday apartment with her friend, and then they're drugged and trafficked and sold to the highest bidder. So, as a targeted individual, that's basically what's been happening to you all your life, but you just don't know it, okay? Every aspect of your life has been controlled and manipulated, okay? You've been bought and sold to the highest bidder all through your life. This is what I believe. And the people involved have an agenda, and that is to keep that star hidden away from the rest of the world, but also from the star's mission, if you like, of what the mission is for that star to achieve, which obviously in my case is to do the preaching of the Lord. But I want you to know some good news. If you're a child of God and you're under this attack, then you can curse these people and you can pray to God, and God will deal with them. Okay? Maybe not in the way you would want, but He will deal with them. And when they are dealt with, don't gloat about it. Leave it with the Lord. But pray to God. I say to God, you've got to give me justice. Because in the Bible, there's a lady who doesn't get justice, and she keeps going to the judge until she gets justice. And I said, you are my judge, and so I come to you until I get justice. And so, this is my story today. We shall call this Stompie. I hope you have an amazing day. It's Ayesha from God FM. If you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, as well as TikTok, and Telegram as God FM News, God FM New, God FM Radio, God FM Group, and God FM Media. I hope you have an amazing day, and just remember what these guys look like. And if you identify with any of the things I've said, then give yourself a pat on the back. You've done really well, but you need Jesus, and you need the good book, and you need to get reading as soon as possible. Every day. It's the only protection that will work, because this is demons. It really is demons, devil worshippers, child eaters, blood drinkers. They are sick. They have no feelings. Try and think of them like cardboard people. They haven't got hearts or souls. They don't have feelings. They get enjoyment out of causing destruction. Don't have any fear. Just pray to God about it and seek the Lord, because the Lord is our Redeemer. In Jesus' name, have an amazing day. Take care.